I'm in Uganda right now. Whenever I go to a new country, I research the history of the flag. But when that turned into the rabbit hole of researching all African flags, it brought me straight back to elementary school. And the trouble I had in memorizing all of them. Why do so many African flags have the same colors? For the answer, we have to look at history. What was the situation before this? Colonialism. The European powers had carved up the whole of Africa in a matter of decades. And the flag design was decided by these colonial powers. They want to show who owns the place. The British are in love with their Union Jack, so it really dominates the flags they put up there. You have this tiny little part reserved for the symbol of the place they're occupying, mostly something to do with nature or animals. The French are actually more subtle with their flag design than the British. But wait, I was in Uganda, so what about the Ugandan flag? It looks different, and I don't really know why, but I'm gonna find one and I'm gonna show you.
Find some flags. Yeah, let's do it.
We're at the hunt all day, finding flags. Come on!
Finding flags!
Finding flags! Cool, what are we eating?
Rolex.
And what's a Rolex?
Well, you think it's a luxury watch, but actually it's
Luxury pancake.
a rolled egg.
Nom nom nom. Eat it.
I heard that some people don't put up flags because they don't like the government.
It seems that we can't find it for now, so let's get back to the story. So you have a lot of these colonial flags, but if you look at the map of Africa and you look closely, there's one place that isn't part of any major colonial empire. There was a place that held back the might of the European advance, a place people called Abyssinia, and we now know by the name of Ethiopia. Ethiopian kingdoms had been independent for centuries. They were even the second nation ever to adopt Christianity. And so when the Italians come and they're like, we're gonna conquer you now, the Ethiopians are like, well, maybe not. They rallied and soundly defeated the Italians. And they did this under a sort of banner with three colors, red, yellow and green. Sometimes after the battle, they made this banner in a European-style flag. And this is a big deal. An African nation, inferior in the eyes of the West, decidedly defeats a European power in open combat. Europeans had been defeated before, sure, but not been held off for good. It immediately put Ethiopia on the map. The country became an icon. In Africa, where all these people are dominated by colonial powers, but also for black people around the world. Ethiopia showed a potential future of Africa not dominated by white people. It even influenced an ideology on the other side of the ocean. An ideology called Pan Africanism. Pan Africanism will have a big influence on the flags of independent African countries. Black Americans developed the idea that all people of African descent have a common history and future. They believe that Africa should be free of colonial suppression, that Africa should be united. Africa should be for the Africans. So if you look for a flag of this movement, Ethiopia is the obvious choice, right? But this is America's Pan-African flag. It's red, green and black. So what happened here? Enter Marcus Garvey. This is a black rights activist, visionary and prophet. This is not a nice time in America. It's a time of racism, it's a time of segregation, it's a time of lynching. And while a lot of people are trying to get better rights for black people, Garvey just doesn't believe black people have a future in the USA. He thinks they will be forever discriminated against. And you kind of see where he's coming from. And he actually wants to start a new nation in Africa for black Americans. And to make it happen, he starts his own initiative.
Fellow citizens of Africa, I greet you in the name of the Universal Negro Improvement Association.
It's really popular. At the peak, it has 2 million followers. And Garvey puts his idea in practice. He starts a shipping company, the Black Star Line. This will take black Americans to Africa. But he has a problem. It's all fine that black people have a common destiny, but they don't really have a symbol to rally behind. This is even something that is made fun of by racists in the time. You even have a song that is called "The Only Race Without a Flag is the Coon." And Garvey thinks, you know what, you're right. And so he designs his flag of black, red and green. There are different theories about what Garvey thought the flag stood for. But nowadays people say that the red stands for blood spilled to protect Africa, the green for the continent, and the black for its people in Africa and also outside of Africa. Garvey's flag is still a very powerful symbol in America today. So now we have two flags that show Pan Africanism. You have Ethiopia's flag and you have Garvey's flag. That gives countries that believe in Pan Africanism something to choose from. And there are a lot of countries about to gain independence, including the new nation of Uganda. But wait, did we already find their flag? We're driving 20 minutes and still not a flag in sight.
I still wanna win, so I keep searching.
Let's go, Koen. Road rage.
We go. I've been looking all around, no flags.
You look very active.
Yeah.
So, Elina, what happened?
Yeah, well, we didn't see any flags.
How come?
There are no flags in Uganda.
Okay, so after the Second World War we have a time of decolonization. It's the crumbling of the big European colonial empires. First, it happens in Asia, but soon in Africa as well. And you have millions of people that become part of new independent nations. You can really see that in the membership of the United Nations. In 1945 there are 51 member states. Fast forward 20 years and this balloons to 117 countries. And a lot of these countries come from Africa. So all these countries gain independence, but what will they choose as their flag?
At long last, the battle has ended.
Ghana is one of the first countries to gain independence, and its president is influenced by the ideas of Pan Africanism. He even met Garvey in America. So it's clear cut, right? Garvey's flag. In the end, the president doesn't design the flag. A young girl taking part in a competition did. This girl turned to the great example of the continent, Ethiopia. In Ghana's flag you have the green that stands for the fertility of Africa, the red the struggle for independence, and gold for mineral wealth. But Garvey's influence is still there. You see the star? Well, she added the black star for the people of Ghana. It's also a nod to the black star line.
A flag is the soul of every country. Sure. You can't stand without a flag. Otherwise, people will not notice that this is this country or the other.
Ghana really sets the scene, and a lot of countries follow it. Nations like Guinea, Mali and Cameroon. And even some countries that have changed their flag by now or exist in a different way, such as Rwanda, Zaire and Tanzania. Overall, Garvey's flag is a bit less influential than Ethiopia's. But you can still see it in Kenya and Malawi, in some flags that don't exist anymore, like the short-lived state of Biafra, but also really new ones, like South Sudan. What I personally find so interesting is that if you look at all these flags, it shows you the history of the continent. It tells so many stories. In North Africa, the green is about Islam, the red is from the long-gone Ottoman Empire, and in other parts you see the influence of communism, like for instance in Angola's flag, which has a design inspired by the hammer and sickle. So, how does the Ugandan flag fit in all this? Turns out it's actually really hard to find the Ugandan flag in Kampala. This is why I'm sitting on the ground here next to a car, because you can find the flag on number plates. You have 3 rows of 3, black, yellow and red. The bird is actually a holdover from colonial times. There were so many cultures, kingdoms and languages in Uganda that the British needed something neutral, and they came up with the crested crane, which is now the national symbol of Uganda. And the colors? These were actually just from the ruling party that was in power when Uganda got independence. Might as well use just our own flag for the entire nation, I guess. Where the ruling party got their inspiration from, that I couldn't really find out. It's probable that the UPC was inspired by Pan Africanism. Maybe they used part of Garvey's flag and part of the Ethiopian flag. I really don't know that for certain though. Flags can have a very big impact, for better or for worse. But I think in this case they show how a flag can inspire nationhood in states that in many instances were a jumble of different people and customs. And I think that's pretty cool. Looking through the origin stories of these flags meant I had to go through a lot of different explanations and compare sources. As a historian, that's what you're trained to do. Who is the author? Why did she write this? And what are her biases? For the past, that's hard enough. But it's even harder for current events. There are so many different media outlets covering stories that have some misinformation, bias, financial motivation, or political color. It's hard to know what the real story is. And that is why a good news aggregator app like today's sponsor Ground News is so helpful. I've been using Ground News to keep up with everything going on in the world. You have this feed of headlines from 50,000 different outlets from all over the world. And here's the cool thing. You can have all this content categorized and sorted in different ways to see through the spin and biases. Like you have this map where you can see how stories are being covered all around the world. There's also a thing where you can swipe through different headlines from a news event to see how different media are covering the same story. And it really shows you how the biases are working. And there's an extra feature to see what blind spots are in covering. Some media are just completely ignoring a certain event. And the best thing is, you can start using it completely free of charge. So if you want to be informed about current events happening all around the world, make sure to check out Ground News by visiting the link in the description. Or subscribe to get access to all the features I just told you about by going to ground.news/thepresentpast. And support a small team of independent media outsiders working to make the news more transparent. And I'll see you in the next one.